Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? It's so easy with Anchor.
Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use.
And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what we're doing right now by reading this ad. We struggled to find the right way to distribute our podcast, and Anchor made it quick, easy, and free. We're on platforms we had never heard of, and that's all thanks to Anchor doing the hard work.
So, if you have been thinking about starting your own podcast, head on over to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Spilling the Mad Tea. I'm Stephanie, joined today by Katie, Kelly, and Rachel.
Hello!
Hi!
Hi.
How are you doing, Stephanie?
I'm doing pretty good. I can't believe it's midsummer already. So that means that Spider-Man Far From Home came out today.
I want to go see that.
I know. I need you to go buy a ticket, now. Because we need to talk about some things.
I'll have to see it when we get back from our camping trip.
We need to talk about some things.
Okay. I want to see it so bad. We'll probably go see it not this weekend, but next weekend.
Okay. As soon as possible would be wonderful. Because I kind of freaked out.
Okay.
But it was really good. I was a bit worried about how they would follow up on Endgame.
Yeah.
But I was very happy. It was very funny and light, and it was really good. But some stuff happened. I know.
I want to go see it now.
Yes. So that said, Katie, I think you had a recent trip to Walt Disney World. So I was wondering if you had any roses and thorns, or what we can call here at Spilling the Mad Tea, sugar and salt, to share about your most recent trip.
Absolutely. So I went on a trip with my parents and two of my cousins who have never been to Disney before. They're both teenagers. They're 18 and 16, a little bit older, which is always really fun to take people who are a little bit older and haven't been to Disney, because they're not just going to be amazed by everything because it's Disney. You've actually got to impress them a little bit. So it was really fun taking them around and seeing the things that they got really excited about, teaching them some of my Disney knowledge, creating the next generation of Disney freaks, if you will. So that was really great. Stephanie also came down and met us for a few days. So it's always really nice to see her. I also found out on that trip that I got an awesome new job offer. So all around, an excellent trip. I have nothing to complain about.
No salt on the trip?
Not for me, no salt, just sugar.
Well, I was there for a day and a half, and I would say the salt of the trip was how hot it was in Florida in June. It was hot.
It was, but I thrive in the heat, so I was okay with it.
I do not thrive in the heat.
Yeah, I kind of wilt in the heat, especially now that we've been living somewhere where it doesn't get that hot that often. Anytime it's above 80, I'm I'm dying.
I'm like a tropical plant. Anytime you get me in the high heat and humidity, I'm just yes!
Well, do you have any sweet tea to serve up? Were there any cast members that you encountered that went above and beyond?
So I'm really disappointed with myself because I pulled a rookie move and I didn't get the name of this cast member.
But tell us about your experience anyway.
We were in Germany, in the Germany Pavilion, Epcot, and we were just kind of walking by. Like you said, it was really hot, and we were all kind of in bad moods. And there was a PhotoPass person there, and I'd never seen PhotoPass in the countries before. So he was literally standing around doing nothing because, who really wants to stop and get a picture there? So as I'm walking up to him, and I'm oh, I have the annual pass perk of being able to get all of your PhotoPass pictures for free. And so we're trying to stop at every single opportunity and get a picture. And I was oh, he's not doing anything. Let's stop here. So he turns around. He's you're right. I'm not doing anything. Come on, let's have some. And just took the most wonderful pictures. This guy was just so bubbly, so excited, so personable, just perfect Disney cast attitude. And it was some of the best pictures we got in the entire trip. You can tell we're hot, our faces are all red and we're all sweaty and gross, but we all have the biggest smiles on our faces because we were just laughing the entire time he was taking pictures.
Aww.
Yeah, he was great.
Well, to anonymous PhotoPass photographers out there, keep on doing you.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're going to spill the tea on Walt Disney World's Nighttime Spectaculars. So each of the 4 theme parks puts on a show once the sun goes down. I've asked each of the girls to pick a park and tell us a little about what's going on after dark. Rachel, do you want to get us started? What's going on at Magic Kingdom?
Whoa! In Magic Kingdom, they have a show now called Happily Ever After. And it is fantastic and marvelous and wonderful. And I cannot say enough beautiful words about it because it gives me like feels from head to toe. Like I'm very, very, very passionate about this show. So I found some fun facts and I found some things I didn't really know about it. And to start off, I got some help from Wikipedia. So shout out Wikipedia. Hey.
The most reliable source on the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, seems legit.
Yeah, this is not like a podcast where we are scientifically accurate and give citing sources. And so, just take our word for it.
You can also go on Wikipedia and read all this. So, hey.
But you don't because you want to listen to this.
Don't put us out of business, Rachel.
Listen to this first and then go read more in depth. Okay, so for those of you who haven't seen it, it is an 18-minute fireworks and projection show. It projects on Cinderella's castle, similar to how the Magic, the Memories, and You were. But it also has all the fantastic fireworks and stuff like Wishes used to have.
R.I.P. Wishes.
Dream and dream.
Wishes. Sorry, Rachel.
The music for it comes from Hong Kong Disneyland's 10th anniversary celebration. It was performed by a 75-piece orchestra in London. And the actual music with the singing is performed by Jordan Fisher, whom I love. And Angie Kielhauer. And I think I messed her name up, but I don't really know. So sorry, girl.
Sorry, Ange.
It evidently has the most technologically advanced production mapping display in Disney Parks history. What this show does is it really takes you on a journey to unlock the magic within, and it starts out opening a keyhole and it takes you inside of the movies. And when I was actually writing up what I wanted to talk about and kind of give myself an outline, I got chills when I was typing the words unlock the magic within. I was like, oh. Anyway, so it goes through several themes, if you will, and there are 6 different themes, and it goes through dreams, journey, friendship, love, adversity, and triumph. And checking on the Wikipedia page here, they give you kind of a breakdown of what characters, what movies kind of are shown throughout on the castle. And I just kind of wanted to name just a couple, not many, because it can get long-winded, but, whatever. Dreams shows a lot of Tiana and Ariel and Remy, with your favorite tunes from those movies. Journey is introduced by Merida, and you have Cars, Up, Finding Nemo, and Moana. Friendship has Tarzan, Lion King, has Toy Story stuff, obviously, Wreck-It Ralph. The love section of it has Olaf in it.
Oh,
I know. And then a lot of Tangled, and the Lion King shows up again. Finding Dory. Adversity, you see, it starts out with Mulan, and then it goes to The Incredibles, and Sleeping Beauty, Pirates of the Caribbean is also in that one. Then you have Triumph, and starts out with the constellation of Mufasa from the movie, and it says it plays the part of reminding us to remember who we are. And then it starts playing Go the Distance from Hercules, which
geez.
I can't listen to that song ever.
I be crying, y'all.
That sounds like it's just designed to make you cry. And
You feel everything in the deep depths of your soul, and that's why it's just ridiculous. And then there are these separate themes are very powerful parts of life, honestly, in my opinion. The show to me is just really important. I think it's honestly, and I'm sorry to say this, but my favorite show that I've ever seen at Disney. And if you know me, that's saying a lot because I've loved Fantasmic for years.
It's true. She has.
She is a true Fantasmic hoe.
I mean, but with this one, I like just feel it in my soul, like deep depths, like way down in my soul. And the different sections of all of them, they showcase more than 25 different Disney movies to kind of show all the specific parts of these themes. And like any show, it has the villains. They pop up and, you know, try to crush the happy, but they're quickly overcome by our favorites and our heroes. And then the finale happens. The narrator comes up and he says that he challenges the audience to unlock their own magic and make their dreams come true, just as all the characters did. The keyhole reappears and a pixie flies from it and trails across the sky like they did in Wishes. So they still kept her because she was such an iconic part of the show, Pixie Tinkerbell. And then You Can Fly starts playing and I'm crying and it just is a lot of big old thing. And so the first time I saw this show, I was crying, like hysterically crying. And I was a little embarrassed, but whatever. And there was this lady beside me. I didn't have a clue who she was. And so I turned around and she like saw that I was just like tears all over the place. And she just like come up to me and she gave me the biggest hug. And it was so cute.
Aww.
And so it was just a neat like first experience with that show because like I said, it just really like, I don't know, the thing does something to me, y'all. I can barely hear that song and without getting chills. But I heard the song before I watched the show because I follow Jordan Fisher probably a little more than I should. And I really loved it so much and I knew all the words and I was just really excited for the show to come together. And I'm just always a big emotional ball of feelings. And thank you. I'm done.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I really agree with Rachel. I just feel like I can feel this show like in my soul. I mean, I could with Wishes too, but for me, like I just feel like this one, like I relate to the message a little stronger as opposed to like Wishes where they tell you to like make a wish on a star, like your dreams will come true. I feel like Happily Ever After is like go get your dreams, like go like find your happily ever after and like go chase your dreams. And I just feel like that's a much better message. And I love it. I'm like, yes, you just walk out of there and you're like, I can do anything. And I think it's really cool, especially when they start playing songs from Hercules and Hunchback of Notre Dame. To see those like projected on the castle like blew my mind. Like I expected to see Frozen and Moana and I was like, yeah, that'll come. But then when they had like these throwbacks, I was like, this is good. Like this is good entertainment. But I feel like they have a little something in it for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I've never actually seen the whole show. My only experience with it in March on my trip, on the last day we were in Magic Kingdom, like the next day we were going to be flying home. And I was in the Emporium and like the show was going on. And I was like, oh, well, I haven't ever seen it. So let me just walk out there and go watch it. And there was like a switch was like flipped inside my brain and I became the most emotional mess. I didn't even make it. I saw like a minute of the show and then Olaf comes on and says like some friends are worth melting for or something like that. Some people are worth melting for. And like, there's just tears. And I was like, I can't watch this. And so I walked back in the Emporium and I was like, let's go. I want to leave. And like, I just crying the entire way out of the park. And then I get to the bus stop, like about to get on the bus to go back to Art of Animation. And like my mom and my sister were still in the park and I'm just crying and I'm like, I want to go back in the park. And so we went, thank God, my husband is understanding and he's like, okay, well, let's go back. So we walked back through security, back into the park and a few more hours there. I didn't watch the show. I still haven't watched the show like on YouTube or anything because of that experience where I just started crying for no reason.
It's so emotional. Like, it just, like, I don't understand who and how in the hell did they make a show that's just so, like, it runs so deeply to your bones, like, just feel it in your core because of the message and what it means.
I was also quite mad because I was like, this isn't Wishes. Wishes makes me cry. This can't make me cry because it's not Wishes. And then I was just like mad at the show.
I think I will say, and I will challenge you, maybe not, don't watch it Like, if that just made you that that emotional, like, don't watch it there for the first time. If I'd have known it was going to make me as emotional as I was, I'd have watched it on YouTube, man.
Yeah, I'll watch it on YouTube.
Pull it up tomorrow and just watch it and cry and get some tissues and feel your feelings.
I think it was a combination of like it was our last day in the park, and like I live on the opposite side of the country from my family. Like it was the last day that I was gonna be seeing my family for a while, and it was just like all of that combined. And then I was like, oh, let's go watch this show. It'll be fine. And then Olaf of all characters, because I don't really care too much about him. He comes on and says some nonsense, and I'm just like a mess. Yeah, rant over. So I didn't know if anybody else had feelings about Happily Ever After.
So I know, Katie, you're like a wishes purist.
I don't dislike Happily Ever After. I just don't really have any like strong feelings about it. Like when I watch it, I'm like, that's a cute like fireworks show, and like I really like the characters, and I really do love that they have some characters from the '90s in there. But I don't have like an intense emotional connection to it. And I'm just like, yeah, it's fine. It's no wishes though. Like it's a good show, but it's not wishes.
So on a day that you've tried like rope dropping to fireworks and it's like 8 p.m. and you are exhausted, are you going to stick around for Happily Ever After?
You bet your sweet ass I will.
If I watch it on YouTube first and I can have my feelings all together.
Nah, I'm getting out before the crowds.
I'm definitely sticking around. I don't care how tired I am for that one. I'll fight through it.
Can I just make a comment that it makes me sad that you don't like it as much?
I'm sorry.
But it's okay.
Well, how do we feel about what's going on at Hollywood Studios?
Fantastic.
No.
Just kidding. So there's a little show called Fantasmic. It's also in Disneyland, but we're going to be talking about the one at Hollywood Studios. It began in October of 1998, so it's been around for a while. The show runs for 26 minutes, which is a pretty good showtime. It always feels like a lot longer than 26 minutes, but like in a good way. It's in the Hollywood Hills Amphitheater, which can accommodate 11,000 guests.
Jesus Christ.
Did not know that. That's so many people. I wonder how often they completely fill that up.
I feel like more often than not, and it's been full.
Yeah, because they'll make the announcement that says, this show Fantasmic is standing room only.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they do that every show, unless it's one of those times they have two shows and you can go to the second one, and then that one's not as crazy.
Yeah.
So the whole kind of story is centered around Mickey Mouse, along with different Disney heroes and heroines, and they all kind of battle assorted Disney villains. There's lights, water screens, and live action cast members. It's a show that combines just about everything. I have a pro tip for you. Sitting too close to the front of the amphitheater can mean that you might get wet. If it's a windy night, when the huge, gigantic water screens are pushed up, the wind can blow the water back on you. So you may think that you're getting like the best seat in the house by sitting super close, but if you go a little bit further back, you won't get wet.
Yeah, you only need to make that mistake once.
Yeah. There is a concession stand in the seating area, and you can also bring in your own food if you would like. I've never gotten anything from the concession stand, but I know Katie likes to do that. I think we talked about that in our snacks episode.
Yeah, I love the concessions because I like to treat Fantasmic as if it is a movie. And I get my popcorn, I get my snacks, and I sit down and I enjoy it.
I'll have to try that one time. Just to have it. I don't think I've ever, unless you've gotten something, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll take a bite of your popcorn or something like that. But
I've definitely gotten some popcorn for us before.
There is Fast Pass Plus available for this. I've never done that because I never really Fast Pass shows, but I guess do you get let in early or you have like a special?
It's fantastic.
Yeah, this is actually a Fast Pass that is pretty good.
They have like the section, like the two like middle sections. And they allow, that's where the Fast Pass Plus people go. And so you get to get in the middle section instead of like out to the edge or whatever. So if you don't have Fast Pass Plus, you can't sit in the really good seat in the middle anymore.
I will say though, if you're like me and you don't get the things early because you've seen it 1,000 times, the Fast Pass doesn't really do you any good because at some point they do open that section up to standby.
I kind of like sitting on the very left, like not the very, very left end, but the left end, because after the boat goes by at the end, you can watch them put a bag over Ariel.
Yes.
That's my favorite part. I pointed that out to the girls when we watched it. I was like, "Quit paying attention to what's going on in the main stage. Watch Ariel."
because she's sitting because she's a mermaid. So like at the end, I think to protect her from fireworks, because all the other characters can go inside the boat, they just put a bag over her.
It's terrible.
There's also a Fantasmic dining package available, which I've never done that either. Because like Katie said, we've seen it before, and I'm usually like, oh, let's go watch Fantasmic. Let's walk in at the last minute and see what's going on over there. But you can dine at select Disney's Hollywood Studio table service restaurants, and then you get priority seating for that evening's performance. Your dining and package includes an entree, dessert, and a non-alcoholic beverage, or the buffet, depending on what restaurant you're at. The prices range from $46 to $63 for adults and $18 to $36 for children, which for like dinner and a show at Disney doesn't seem too terrible.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah. And then we're kind of skipping around my fun facts because I didn't organize them really well. Going back to the whole water thing, there is a moat around a mountain. And although live action things kind of happen on the mountain, and then in the moat, they have some floats going by and like the water screens and things. The moat contains 1.9 million gallons of water.
Wow.
That's a lot. And like we mentioned earlier, peak season, there's usually 2 shows per night. And then on the off season, there'll be 1 show a night. If you're going during peak season, most people are going to go to the first show. If you don't mind sticking around to the later show, you have a chance of getting probably a better seat with less people, if that's important to you. And my favorite moment from the entire show is when Pocahontas appears at the top of the mountain looking all like strong and like she could take on the world. What's y'all's favorite moments?
I like when Mickey pops back up at the pops up at the bottom when he was just at the top in a different costume. I'm like, Mickey Mouse is magic.
It's magical.
It's amazing. Yeah, that's my favorite part of Fantasmic for sure.
That's mine too.
Well, I'm a little different. That is a good part, but I think my favorite part is when the princesses go across in the water and they're just singing, and it's just like a little. It's like a mashup of all their tunes, and it's so good.
I'm so glad you mentioned that.
So, like, Ariel gets like a whole long like song, and Belle gets a whole long song, and Snow White is like, someday my prince will come. Cut, darkness, and she gets like 2 seconds.
It is 9 seconds. I timed it the last time I watched it. It is 9 seconds, and the other 2 get like 15.
That's so rude.
They literally get double the time.
It's just rude.
She's the original princess, and she gets someday my prince will come, and then it just cuts to black, and she gets nothing else.
That's rude.
So sad.
Mm-hmm. I remember who pointed that out to me the first time.
I think we all were like on our college program because we would go watch Fantasmic like anytime we were in Hollywood Studios, and every time that happened, I feel like all of us were just like,
what the crap?
Like flabbergasted that that's all the time that she got.
Yeah, now I can't like unsee it.
Yeah. So to wrap up my little spiel about Fantasmic, I have to say I cry at the finale every single time that it happens. The moment that Stephanie and Katie said was their favorite, when Mickey goes, some imagination, huh? Like the tears start and I can't handle it. Cry all the time.
Disney's an emotional place.
It's such an emotional place.
Way emotional.
But okay, so same question as for Happily Ever After. If you're doing like park open, park close, but you are like exhausted, you've seen everything else there is to see in Hollywood Studios at like, let's say 7 o'clock, you're ready to go, but you haven't seen Fantasmic. Rachel, are you sticking around?
Girl, yes, always.
Kelly, how about you?
Yes, because I haven't seen it in quite a long time. I would love to see it again.
Katie?
I love Fantasmic, but it would depend on how tired I am. I can definitely miss it because I've seen it so many times.
Yeah, I'm probably a no. Like, if I just spent a half day there and I would go see it, but if I'm exhausted, I could definitely pass on it.
Fantasmic crowds are the worst. Mm-hmm. That would be my one like thing that would deter me from going is leaving Fantasmic is horrible. But the show is fantastic.
I always plan my day around like if I'm gonna do a half day anywhere, I start the day in Animal Kingdom and then I end the day at Hollywood Studios so that I can watch Fantasmic.
That's a good plan.
That is a good plan.
Well, speaking of spending this part of your day at Animal Kingdom, you guys ready to hear about what goes on over there?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, because I know nothing about this.
me either.
Katie, have you seen it?
Yes. Yes. I'll save my thoughts until the end.
So, over at Animal Kingdom, they have a Discovery River Amphitheater. It has a capacity of 5,000 people and is set up with two villages kind of facing each other, coming together on the water. So, one village sits in Asia and the other sits in Dino Land, USA. The theater kind of fits more into the Asia side of things because it was inspired by the Nepalese culture, and you see that through the prayer flags and lanterns and the lotus motifs throughout the theater. Michael Jung is the creative director at Walt Disney Imagineering and kind of the brains behind the Rivers of Light show. And he said that the show inside the theater was designed to, quote, honor the beauty and wild unpredictability of animals and celebrate the true magic of nature, end quote. That's kind of what the Animal Kingdom's all about. So it's kind of fitting that that was the inspiration and goal of the show. He also said, quote, the show takes the guise of an ancient and timeless lantern festival, and it celebrates a beautiful mythology. In the ancient times, people believed that when animals passed from one world to another, they danced in the sky and created these beautiful flowing rivers of light, whereas we know them as the aurora borealis. And that's really the heart of our story, end quote.
That's beautiful.
Right? So the show features 5 lotus fountains, and Jung said that the lotus plays an important role in the show because the lotus is the seed of all life in Indian culture. The show also features 2 sailboats, 4 animal spirit guides by production designer Michael Curry. The elephant represents earth, the owl represents the sky, tiger represents fire, and turtle represents water. So you're bringing together all these elements of earth, sky, fire, and water, and all of the animals, and together they're creating the rivers of light. The show also features water projections similar to the technology in Fantasmic, but instead of like Disney animation coming up on there, it gets featuring animals from Disney Nature's films, such as Monkey Kingdom, bears, African cats, and Born in China. And there's also some custom footage that the Disney Nature photographers shot specifically for this show.
Cool.
Yeah. The original score is by Mark Mancina and Don Harper. And okay, so the show was originally announced in 2013. That's when they said oh, Animal Kingdom's gonna become a full day park. We're gonna like do things later in the day. It's gonna be great. And it was scheduled to open in spring 2016.
Ha 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 ha.
Yeah. Haha. Good joke, Disney.
Mhm.
So they kind of threw together this Jungle Book alive with magic to put into the theater as delays in production were occurring. And this show features live singers and dancers and projections from the live action Jungle Book film. And I mean, I guess the idea was to fill the amphitheater, promote the film, and keep people in the park longer and spending money. But they kept saying that Rivers of Light was coming soon from spring 2016 when it was originally scheduled to open. It finally opened February 17th, 2017. So it was delayed almost a year. And for me, the Jungle Book show wasn't that great of a placeholder. I mean, it was fine, but it wasn't what we were all expecting and anticipating. So when it finally opened, Jung started doing all of these press events that this show's here, it's here. And he said the show begins with a really wonderful ritual. We'll hear an incredible musical overture and these magical storytellers enter the arena from either side of the audience. They'll begin to light all the lanterns in the space in a very beautiful, ritualistic way. Moving fountains, water screens, lasers, projection, lighting effects all come together to create something really special. That sounds great. That's not what we got.
Oh gosh.
Well, when the show did open in 2017, it did open with some storytellers, Asima and Aditya. and they had like students under them, Ambu and Ketu, and half of them represented fire and water, and the other half represented earth and air. So they kind of matched those animal floats that we were talking about. Their costumes were inspired by Native American, European, and Far Eastern cultures. And they walked through the audience, and they came out on 2 boats. And there was like a light behind the sail of the sailboat, and they projected shadows from Balinese-style puppetry onto the sails, which was cool. But the show's live cast was cut in September 2018 because of budget cuts.
Oh my word.
I don't know how much 4 people really get paid to do this. So now the show doesn't have them, and I feel like it's kind of missing something. Now it's just fountains and floats, and I thought the people were kind of a cool aspect of it. We were also promised 100 autonomous floating lanterns that were supposed to cruise along the waters and come together to form different shapes. And that was really like the inspiration of the floating lanterns that they talked about. It was supposed to be like this ritual. Thailand does a giant lantern festival, and you kind of see something similar in Tangled at the end when they're all lighting the floating lanterns. And that was a big inspiration for this show. And so they were originally going to design over 100 lanterns to float along the waters that these storytellers would light, and they would move around and form these images to move the story forward. But they could never get the technology right. It was supposed to work through a GPS system, and similar to the drones show that they had at Christmas at Disney Springs, where they moved around and formed a Christmas tree. That was supposed to happen on the water. But I guess the water's it's real Florida water, and it's kind of dirty, and I guess the GPS system never worked. So that was rumored to what caused the delay for about a year until they just gave up on it altogether. Yeah. So where we're at now is all summer the Animal Kingdom has been gearing up for Jon Favreau's The Lion King, which is going to be released July 19th, 2019. And they have rethemed the Rivers of Light show to Rivers of Light, We Are One.
We are one.
That's our theme song.
I thought it was a play on the Lion King 2 song, but
Yeah.
We Are One is the main theme song of Rivers of Light originally.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
Oh well.
the new show does feature some animals and music from The Lion King, Pocahontas, Tarzan, and The Jungle Book. And it's kind of, I don't know, I feel like we have similar feelings about how we feel about Disney IP coming into World Showcase. It just seems like you're well, I don't know how I feel about these animated animals coming into what's supposed to be this natural celebration of real animals with all these Disney nature films. But for me, just when you start kind of losing interest in the Rivers of Light show, a song from The Lion King pops up and you see some Lion King animals running around. So for me, it works.
They did that on purpose.
Yeah, I think it's more relevant to kids, I think, who want to who know the songs and want to see faces they're familiar with. But I don't know.
It sounds like a hot mess.
Yeah.
I think the idea, the original idea on paper, I was really excited about, and on paper should have been my favorite nighttime show. But in reality, it was just very disappointing. And I've seen it, I don't really need to go see it again.
Yeah. So what we said, most of us are going to stay up for Happily Ever After, Fantasmic. But for Rivers of Light, I went to see it with my mom, and we both looked at each other and shrugged and went, okay, don't need to do that again. It was nice enough, and it was a nice way to kind of end the day, but sitting down and watching this show that reminds you about what you've seen and how you've been reacting to the Animal Kingdom that day, and it's kind of a nice bow to tie on it. But I don't feel like I need to stay in the parks for it. I feel no emotional connection to it.
Yeah, none whatsoever.
Yeah, the opposite of how I feel about Happily Ever After. Just I'm not connected to the show at all, even though I love Animal Kingdom. I love it. But I don't love this show.
I'd just much rather go over to Pandora and watch that at night instead of watching that show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just going to the Pandora section is show enough in itself that like Rivers of Light's like, nah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it speaks volumes that like I haven't even ever stayed ever for it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it at all.
And I don't honestly care to. Like, I feel like I should see it once, but like I'm not gonna like plan around it. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I'm not gonna try to do it.
It just feels like even trying to describe it to you guys, it just feels so disconnected. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, we're going to do this lantern ritual, and then we're going to do it, the Aurora Borealis, but then we're going to throw in Tarzan. And I'm like, what is going like it seems so disconnected. So I'm probably not staying up for it. I'll stay up and I'll go to Pandora instead. Katie, are you sticking around the park?
Not for Rivers of Light. Nope.
No, you'll catch me in Pandora all day, every day, watching those lights in Pandora.
Nope, you'll catch me at Happily Ever After.
So sad. All right. Well, on a kind of a sad note as well, Katie, do you want to tell us about what's currently still available at Epcot?
So this was really hard for me to do the research on because I love IllumiNations. It's my favorite nighttime show. I think it will always be my favorite nighttime show. Epcot Forever can be the best show they've ever created, and I, similar to Happily Ever After, I'm just not going to love it because of what it replaced. So IllumiNations is a tough topic for me right now, but I'm going to try to struggle through it. I'm trying to make it very fact-based so I don't get upset. So IllumiNations, Reflections of Earth is the full title, is the Nighttime Spectacular at Epcot. It takes place in the World Showcase Lagoon and can be seen from anywhere around the World Showcase Lagoon. So you can kind of watch it as you're walking. You can stop in a country and intentionally view it. But to me, it is just a beautiful culmination of fireworks and projection and lasers and fire. And it's a true masterpiece. It's only 14 minutes long. I always feel it's a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
But it's only 14 minutes long, beginning to end. It was created in 1999 by Don Dorsey. It premiered on October 1st, which is a big day in Disney history. That's when Magic Kingdom also opened. So all good things happen on October 1st. It premiered as IllumiNations 2000 Reflection of Earth. It was part of the Millennial Celebration for the new millennium, but it was so successful that after the Millennium Celebration ended, the 2000 was dropped from the name and the show continued on. It received several awards throughout the years, including 11 straight Best Outdoor Night Production Show Golden Ticket Awards from 2005 to 2015.
Wow.
That's a long award name.
Yeah, that was a mouthful. So Jim Cummings narrates the show.
He does everything.
Yeah, he does everything. And the show begins with, the opening spiel and then the classic blowing out of the torches, which any Disney fan has that timed perfectly to blow it out the same time that they all go out. And it's just a really nice visual to start the show. And I always get goosebumps as soon as those torches go out. This whole show, like from beginning to end for me, is just an emotional like blob of messness. So the show was originally supposed to celebrate the new millennium, like I said, and the history and accomplishments that Earth and her people have celebrated throughout the years. It's comprised of 3 acts: chaos, order, and meaning. Before doing research for this episode, I had no idea that there was like a structure to this show. So
Nope.
I appreciate it even more now, and it makes me even more upset that it's leaving because it's beautiful and I think it really fits in with Epcot well, but we'll see. Maybe they'll bring in something that fits in with the new Epcot.
Yeah.
So Act 1, Chaos, is where you've got flames and fireworks. It's kind of like chaotic. Like it's everywhere. It's all over the place. That represents the creation of Earth. The music has been composed by Gavin Greenway for this whole show. And the music's really active and chaotic. Like it starts out like quick. It doesn't start slower. It doesn't have like this build up. Like it starts with this chaos and this like the creation of the Earth, building of the Earth. However you believe that happened, like it's a really cool representation of like the activity of like humans and life on Earth. Act 2 is when they have the flame barge and it's spouting flames and the Earth globe starts to appear. Now, the last time I watched the show, the globe was like in the middle of the World Showcase Lagoon all day. Like it doesn't move out there anymore.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's like something broke or it's an intentional thing. But originally, in the original plans of the show, the globe moves out into the center of the lagoon, and it's not out there all day. So like midday, they'll bring it out into the moat to the edge to prepare for the show. But this globe is a really cool and really unique piece to the show. It's accompanied by water effects from the fountain barges. All these barges have different uses. They've got the fireworks barge, a fountain barge, a fire barge. Like everything in the World Showcase Lagoon is part of this show, which is very cool that it's the show that happens not backstage. A lot of the fireworks are all like backstage things because fireworks aren't pretty to set up, and like you don't want to like see the magic. But for this, like you get to see the magic as part of the show, which is really cool. So as the Earth cools, it changes from like a white to a red to a blue, and that's when you see all the images appear of all the countries, landmarks, people, objects, and the exterior buildings of all the countries around the lagoon are then illuminated by laser lights and spotlights.
Beautiful.
I know, it's gorgeous. That's one of my favorite parts as well of the show, is when all those countries are like lit up.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, world peace can be achieved if we all just watch IllumiNations every night. Right? The only buildings that do not light up are Morocco and Norway. Morocco doesn't light up in respect of the buildings that are in the pavilion. They're replicas of actual buildings that have great religious significance. So the country of Morocco is asked to have those not lit up.
Oh.
And in order to keep symmetry, the Norway pavilion does not light up either. Yeah.
Well, that's a good fun fact.
Yeah, that is a good fun fact. I didn't realize, I knew like that Morocco didn't light up, but I didn't realize Norway also didn't light up.
Yeah.
For symmetry. Of course, Disney's like, nah, well, if one of them's not going to light up, we got to make it even.
Yeah.
So then it moves into Act 3, and the song We Go On is played, which is
that's what gets me.
beautiful. It's about like Happily Ever After. Like Happily Ever After is a great song, but like We Go On is my like, I'm going to start crying song.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. The torches around the World Showcase Lagoon are relit, those same ones that went out at the beginning of the show, and the Earth globe opens up, revealing a final Unity torch with fireworks, followed by a launch of 1,000 white fireworks into the sky, illuminating the lagoon. The scene concludes with the final launch of fireworks and bright white flashes that end with a loud crackle. The final crackle emanating from the launch of fireworks can be heard several miles around the park. And then the show ends with the song Promise by Kelly Coffey, who also sings We Go On, which is also one of those songs you can just walk out of the park crying your little eyes out to and singing your heart out to, and we won't be able to do that anymore.
Why?
And continents are projected on Spaceship Earth, making it not just a golf ball for a minute. So there is your recap of the show. I also found some fun facts about the show itself that I didn't know that I found really interesting. So the Earth globe is 28 feet and was the first spherical video display system and has 15,600 LEDs wrapped around it. It's the only barge with a driver on it. I did not know there was a driver on any of those barges. It seems kind of dangerous. But they're guided by an infrared system while they're driving.
Huh.
Yeah. On an episode of Modern Marvels, it was said that this globe was the most complicated piece of show equipment ever built by Disney. And Gerald Kaplan was the Imagineer behind all of that.
Go, Gerald.
So you go, Gerald. You'll make that big old globe. And I really hope that they at least repurpose that for something. It'll be kind of sad if we see the globe go away completely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I would really like for them to. Even if they just like find a permanent place for it. They could even just put it behind the bridge that it comes through anyway. And you can just walk past it and see it. Yeah, something. Don't let it go to waste. I mean, that was a super advanced and super cool piece of technology. I'd hate to see it go to the Disney graveyard. Yeah. I talked about the Inferno Barge earlier. It's 150,000 pounds.
Oh.
And 400 gallons of isopar are used every night. I guess that's what ignites and causes the fire.
Wow.
But apparently that's a lot of isopar.
Sounds like it. It does make a big boom. Lots of fire. It'll warm you up on the fence.
For IllumiNations, Walt Disney Entertainment invented a new way of launching fireworks using a pneumatic launch system instead of black powder that pollutes more and causes the trail of an igniting firework to be seen. The technology was developed for Disneyland under requirement by the South Coast Air Quality Management District, and it allows for explosions to be timed with the music and height of the shell's explosion to be controlled rather than hoping that the fireworks go off in time. And then the fireworks themselves have a timing chip inserted so that it can explode with like exact precision.
That's
So
crazy.
that's why with like the big bursts of that chaotic music in the beginning, like you get all those fireworks right on time with that.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, right?
Well, you notice like they also like they shoot off with such precision. It's like you'll notice the ones at Magic Kingdom are always like perfect, and you don't get that with like the gunpowder. It's a really cool invention that they invented, like these compressed air rockets to shoot off these fireworks. I just think it's really cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that so much like new technology and like they had to do all this stuff to make this fireworks show, like with from the globe having like a circular display to these fireworks that can be timed with a chip in them. Like it's pretty cool.
Walt would have been so proud.
Yeah, Walt would have been so very proud. So unfortunately, our beautiful, amazing, and perfect Illumination show is going to be leaving us.
No,
I know. Break my heart in half. As part of Epcot's makeover, it will be leaving September 30th to be immediately replaced by a new show, Epcot Forever, the very next night. So that will be really interesting to be able to see those like back to back right beside each other and kind of compare. And I hope that Epcot Forever, I almost hope it's bad so that I can like not like it because it's bad.
Oh, I hope it's good. I feel like if they're taking away Illuminations, like this show better knock my socks off, because I really love Illuminations.
Yeah, I mean, it should, but will it?
Let's hope it was done by different people than Rivers of Light.
Yeah, I know, and that's the thing too, is that the last like new show was a little disappointing. Like Happily Ever After is good, but Rivers of Light was so bad.
I think my thing is about Illuminations is like it's good, but like I saw it every single day for 7 months, and I don't have to see it anymore. I don't.
So on a long park day, will you be sticking around to see Illuminations, Rachel?
Nope.
How about you, Kelly?
Yeah, I'm definitely staying. I love it. When the We Go On song starts, it just hits you right in the heart, and you just feel that world peace just like coursing through your veins.
Yeah, I will definitely be sticking around. I'm hoping to be able to get down there for the transition of Illuminations to the new show. We'll see. Fingers crossed. Katie, will you be sticking around at the end of the night for Illuminations?
Oh, of course. I've gone to Epcot just to watch Illuminations before. You know my ass gonna be there.
So I guess as like a final wrap up, if you were in Disney World tonight and could only pick one nighttime show to go see, Katie, what would yours be?
Illuminations.
Kelly, how about you?
Illuminations.
Rachel?
Happily Ever After. Surprise, surprise.
I'm so torn. I don't know what I would say.
You know you want to go see Illuminations.
I do. I feel bad leaving Rachel by herself.
No, please, by all means. I will be just fine. Me and my emotional state will be just fine.
She's gonna feel warmth of her tears to hold her.
No, I think it would be okay. I think you should go see Illuminations because you like really like it, and it won't be around that much longer. But like Happily Ever After, gonna be sticking for a while.
Yeah,
I'll be fine. I'll be fine by myself.
I think that's what it is. If I knew Illuminations was going to be there forever, I'd probably go see Happily Ever After. But because I've only got a limited amount of time to see Illuminations, I would spend my evening at Illuminations tonight.
Good choice.
Well, you kiddos enjoy yourselves.
And we'll all meet up for coffee in the morning.
Okay, great.
Sounds good.
Okay, so I think we've covered just about everything we can in regards to Walt Disney World's Nighttime Spectaculars. So we'd like to thank you all so much for tuning in. We'd love for you to join us on another unbirthday party. So make sure you're subscribed to Spilling the Mad Tea on your favorite listening platform. Also, be sure to follow us on Instagram. We post episode-related photos and more at Spilling the Mad Tea.
And next time you're sitting down waiting for your favorite show to start, you can tweet us and let us know what you're watching at Spilling Mad Tea.
Reach out to us and give us a like on Facebook at Spilling the Mad Tea.
And you can email us any facts we might have missed or gotten wrong, because there's always a chance of that, at spillingthemadtea@gmail.com.
Well, I think it's time for us to go. We've got some wishes to grant. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.